Howdy, people. It's time to make our plans for December. So, first off, the reading vlog idea that I had. Epic fail, does not work with my ADD. I have to just like sit down and do everything at once. I can't just like film snippets throughout. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do my little prompt drawing when I do my hopefuls videos. Yeah, I'm just gonna tie it in like normal because I do like the prompt, and the first book was a 5-star read, and that was the prompt, was a 5-star prediction. So obviously I want to keep doing this, but the vlog thing, props to the people who do it. It's just not, my brain said no. So without further ado, it is time to draw. Okay, here we are. Lowest rated book on Storygraph. That's what this guy says. Okay, please hold. Okay, just kidding. It's actually Goodreads because Storygraph, I don't think, has the ability to do this yet. I have faith that someday they will, but I had to enter everything into Goodreads just so that I could do this prompt. So, lowest rated book on my wish list of things to read is The Library of the Dead by T.L. I'm gonna let you pronounce that last name in your head because I don't know how to say it. But this is part of a series. I'm just gonna read you the blurb. I love the cover of this book, first of all. I think that's what caught my eye first, is the cover. So I'm still very excited for this. It says, when a child goes missing in Edinburgh's dark streets, young Ropa investigates. When a child goes missing in Edinburgh's darkest streets, young Ropa investigates. She'll need to call on Zimbabwean magic as well as her Scottish pragmatism to hunt down clues. But as shadows lengthen, will the hunter become the hunted? When ghosts talk, she will listen. Ropa dropped out of school to become a ghost talker. Now she speaks to Edinburgh's dead, carrying messages to the living. A girl's gotta earn a living, and it seems harmless enough. Until, that is, the dead whisper that someone's bewitching children, leaving them husks, empty of joy and life. It's on Ropa's patch, so she feels honor-bound to investigate. But what she learns will change her world. She'll dice with death, not part of her life plan, discovering an occult library and a taste for hidden magic. She'll also experience dark times, for Edinburgh hides a wealth of secrets, and Ropa's gonna hunt them all down. So this is a YA fantasy, urban fantasy, mystery dealio. This one just sounded like a nice, easy, fun one to me. And those are really good for when my insomnia is really bad and when I'm just exhausted, but I don't want to binge TV shows. All I want is to have a good time with it. I don't even care if it's good. I just want to have a good time. So book number 1 for next month is The Library of the Dead. My nonfiction for next month, which will also be my audiobook, one of them at least, I'm gonna listen to Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain because I love him and I haven't read it. And I kind of have this goal where I think I would like to read everything he's written because I think his mind is a really, really, really interesting place, and he has 1,000,001 good points to make, and he's just got a unique perspective that not a lot of people have. So I'm starting at the beginning. This is very, very, very overdue, and I can't imagine that I won't enjoy this. Next up, this one's on its way from, I don't know, like Seattle Goodwill or something. I ordered it used online. It is Elsewhere by Alexis Schaitkin, and this is supposed to be a literary fiction book about the reality of being a woman in society, and I think specifically about motherhood. Here is a synopsis. Vera grows up in a small town, removed and isolated, pressed up against the mountains, cloud-covered and damp year-round. This town, fiercely protective, brutal, and unforgiving in its adherence to tradition, faces a singular affliction. Some mothers vanish, disappearing into the clouds. It is the exquisite pain and intrinsic beauty of their lives. It sets them apart from people elsewhere and gives them meaning. Vera, a young girl when her own mother went, is on the cusp of adulthood herself. As her peers begin to marry and become mothers, they speculate about who might be the first to go, each wondering about her own fate. Reveling in their gossip, they witness each other in motherhood, waiting for the signs. This one devotes herself to her child too much, this one not enough. That must surely draw the affliction's gaze. When motherhood comes for Vera, she is faced with the question, will she be able to stay and mother her beloved child, or will she disappear? Provocative and hypnotic, Alexis Schaitkin's Elsewhere is at once a spellbinding revelation and rumination on the mysterious task of motherhood and all the ways in which a woman can lose herself to it, the self-monitoring and judgment, the doubts and unknowns, and the legacy she leaves behind. I think this is a really important topic. I haven't heard of a book talking about this in sort of a speculative fiction sort of way, so I'm really excited. I feel like this is one that will spark a lot of conversations between me and my mom. It is true, like it's an interesting phase of your life when your friends start having kids and things change a lot. Their priorities change, their schedule changes, and it's a really layered thing. It's a really complicated thing. It's a thing that's different for everybody. And this sounds like a really, really, really cool idea for a book. It's also a shorty. It's about 225 pages, which I think is good, because literary fiction would intimidate me too much if it was like over 300 pages, but this seems approachable, so I'm happy for that. The rest of the books on the list are from my physical stack of books that I'm trying to make a lot smaller, and I took all of these off of there, so it's actually helping a lot and making me feel a lot better about things. So I'm just gonna go through this. This is a horror book, and I do not read horror. I have not liked it so far, but I have high hopes for this one because supposedly it tackles a lot of issues in one go, and I think it's more of a thriller slash horror, not like a straight up body horror book or anything. I hope I'm right about that. I don't like body horror at all. This is Tinfoil Butterfly by Rachel Eve Moulton. What I've heard is it's basically about a woman who ends up being stranded kind of in the middle of nowhere. I think her car breaks down, and the only person she can find is a child in a tinfoil mask that comes up to her and kind of leads her somewhere, and she follows him because she doesn't have anybody else to ask for help, and then things just get weird from there. I'm not going to look up any more information about this book since it does seem like it is pretty mysterious. I don't want anything given away. I hate any level of spoilers so much, but this has pretty good reviews, and that just a kid in a tinfoil mask, that scares me, but in a way that I have to find out what the heck is happening. To be continued. I will let you know what's up with this creepy kid in a mask of foil. Like, even this cover scares me. But it's about 250 pages, so if I hate it, it's not that much to make it through. It should be fine. This one is gonna, like, stab me in the heart, I have a feeling. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi is a well-loved book. It's about a coffee shop where you can choose a memory to travel back to and revisit. My mom read this. I pretty much want to read any book that my mom reads so that I have somebody to automatically talk to about it, but she's also mad picky. I'm really curious what memories are the first ones that the author chose to pick for his characters. I'm very curious what memory number 1 is. It's like 285 pages, but it's a very like short page book, so it should be pretty easy. I like what this one person wrote about it. It says, "This is a sweet fable-like tale about a magical seat in a cafe where you can, if you wish, go back in time. An odd read, but also a charming one." That sounds perfect. Describe any book like that to me and I will read it. On to the next one. It is Slade House by David Mitchell. This I have heard one person talk about, and that is the person that convinced me to read it. I don't remember who it was. I remember they liked it a lot, and it just seems like a cozy magical book. So I'm gonna read you the blurb. Ooh, Gillian Flynn liked it. "Keep your eyes peeled for a small black iron door. Down the road from a working class pub along a narrow brick alley, you might just find the entrance to Slade House. A stranger will greet you by name and invite you inside. At first, you won't want to leave. Later, you'll find you can't. Every 9 years, the residents of Slade House extend an invitation to someone who's different or lonely. A precocious teenager, a recently divorced policeman, a shy college student. But what really goes on inside? For those who find out, it's already too late." The iron door makes it sound like the setting is going to be really cool. Every 9 years, there's something about people just like having this creepy obsession with like ritual and timing, and they just put like meaning into everything. Those people creep me out. So the fact that it's every 9 years is already got me wondering who is behind this door and what is their problem. I am really excited for this one. It's actually been really hard to prioritize other books over this so far. It's been on my shelf for a little while, and I'm so tempted every month, but I've just had other ones that I needed to read first. It's a little over 200 pages, so this one's going to be super easy. Ooh, it's got some cool little pictures in there. Yeah, this one's going to be fun. I am expecting this to be like an easy and delightful page-turning read. On that note, I also expect this one to be really good because it has like a very loyal fan base, and that is The Goblin Emperor by Katherine Addison. I believe I heard that this one has like a lot of court politics, court intrigue, if you will, and I love that. I love like cutthroat, messed up, power-hungry people being savage because it's just ridiculous, but also realistic at the same time, unfortunately. That's the kind of drama that I like. I don't like my own drama. I don't like being involved in drama, but I love other people's drama sometimes, but only if it's high stakes. This should be great. Awards upon awards. 2015 Locus Award winner for Best Fantasy Novel. 2014 Nebula Award finalist for Best Novel. 2015 Hugo Award finalist for Best Novel. 2015 World Fantasy Award finalist for Best Novel. Like, big time awards. It's on all the lists, and people love this book. It is between 400 and 450 pages. Let me read you the back. A vividly imagined fantasy of deadly court intrigue. Born of a marriage made only as part of a treaty, the youngest son of the emperor has lived his entire life in exile, far from his father and the imperial court. He knows little of the rituals of the empire. He knows less about the deadly intrigue that surrounds the government and the court. But when his father and 3 half-brothers die suddenly, Maya is summoned to take his rightful place on the throne. For Maya, the life in the capital is a bewildering daily test. He is surrounded by strangers. He has no way to know who he can trust, and before long, he discovers his father and half-brother's deaths were no accident. The ship was tampered with. The crash was murder. And then this part is what really gets me. It says, a remarkably hopeful story of a single decent person doing his best in a difficult situation. Remarkably compelling and fascinating. To me, that says we're gonna love our protagonist a whole heck of a lot and be rooting for him the whole time and be stressed out for him the whole time. Politics. I'm ready. It's a bit of a chunker. Not the chunkiest, but not chunky. I'm so ready for this one. The next one I pre-ordered because I think I found it. I have this terrible habit where I find books and I read the synopsis and I immediately want to read them, need to read them, and then I find out that they're not released yet. That's always fun. So I pre-ordered this one. I almost never pre-order books because I try to buy mine used. But this one, I also just wanted to support because it's a trans book. If you have a problem with that, don't leave a comment because it's just going to get you blocked, okay? Like, everybody's welcome here as long as they're not hating on anything. Welcome to Dorley Hall by Alyson Greaves is a story about men disappearing from a college campus and women appearing who look a lot like those men that disappeared. Ooh, dozens of men have disappeared over the years. This sounds really good. I have really high hopes for this book. This cover is kind of cool though. Right? This one is close to 400 pages. Oh, and there's a little list of character guide, which I always appreciate because I get confused sometimes. I love when they have a picture of the place that the book is set in the beginning. Does a lot for my imagination. So thank you, Alyson Greaves, and whoever the artist is. I'm excited. Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. This is one that I'm gonna have to read the synopsis with you because I don't remember what it's about. I just remember this being on a list with The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, a book that I absolutely adored, as a religious trauma themed book. And then I saw it and I was obsessed with the cover. It's so cool because this in person looks exactly like it was scratched in there really hard with pen. Like, this is indented. It looks like somebody just wrote on the cover, and it's pretty great. Okay, cover image is by Evangeline Gallagher, and the cover design is by Malia Parslow. Prepare to die, his kingdom is near. 16-year-old trans boy Benji is on the run from the cult that raised him, the fundamentalist sect that unleashed Armageddon and decimated the world's population. Guys, I didn't realize this was such a high-stakes book. I really didn't. Desperately, he searches for a place where the cult can't get their hands on him, and more importantly, on the deadly bioweapon they infected him with, when Benji is rescued by a ragtag group of teens from the local Addison LGBTQ Center, affectionately known as the ALC. They offer him shelter as long as he can control the monster within and use his power to defend them. Their leader, Nick, is gorgeous, autistic, and a deadly shot, and Benji soon discovers that he has a hidden agenda and more than a few secrets of his own. This sounds like a loaded baked potato, honestly. There's a lot going on here, and I'm a lot more excited now that I've refreshed my memory on the synopsis. I must not have read the back when I got it, because none of this sounds familiar. I bought it for the cover and for the theme, and I'm very, very happy that I did. Sometimes impulse buying can be a good thing. The last thing is I started Viola Davis's autobiography a couple months ago, and it was amazing, and I just was not, I was too overwhelmed with my own stuff to fully soak in all the knowledge that she was giving me, and I wanted to finish it when I had more space in my brain to take that in. So I want to finish that before I start on Kitchen Confidential. I want to get a lot of graphic novels done because since I had this massive reading slump, now I've felt like I need to focus on novels instead of graphic novels, because I do want to finish everything that I said I would read this month. But I have a Brandon Sanderson book that I still need to read, and A Little Life, which is so daunting. And I've surrendered to the fact that I might just read it slowly over time and not give myself any deadline on it, because I really want to take it in, and I don't want to get hung up on the fact that I'm not finished with A Little Life if that happens at the end of the month. So but I love graphic novels. I don't want to get into too much of a rut with them, so I do want to make that a big focus next month as well. So those are the plans. I feel good about it. This little stack is much smaller now because that also has like my self-help books, which sounds corny, but they're very good ones, okay? It also has them in there and a philosophy book, which are like, I consider those a long-term TBR, ones that I will just read in pieces over time. So it's honestly like 4 books shorter than this that I have left to get through. I'm doing pretty good. I'm working my way through them. But yes, that's what's on the books for next month. Looking forward to it. As always, I am pretty excited that I have a lot that I don't actually know that much about. I just know what's on the back. I haven't heard anybody's opinions of them. Yeah, it's kind of a going in blind month, and that feels right. It feels right for me. So that is it. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week.